Hi, class. Today we are going to read chapter 5 from Midnight on the Moon. It's titled Hang On. But before we read chapter 5, let's just summarize chapter 4. So, in chapter 4, Jack and Annie bounced around the moon like moon rabbits. Jack fell and Annie helped him up. Annie found a moon buggy and decided to drive it. So, here we go. We're going to sing our song Jack and Annie. Jack and Annie, Jack and Annie, Jack and Annie, and their adventures. Chapter 5, Hang On. Annie drove the moon buggy over bumps and hollows. It bucked like a bronco. A bronco's a horse. I'm going through there. She pointed to an opening between two mountains. Jack held on to the dashboard. The buggy bumped toward the opening and shot through. On the other side, the ground was even rockier. Look for the fourth M thing, said Annie, bouncing up and down. Jack groaned. Looking for anything on this wild ride was impossible. Slow down, he said. How? Try pressing on the brake pedal on the floor slowly. Annie pressed on the brake. The buggy slowed down. Jack sighed with relief. The ride was still bumpy, but now, at least, he could take a good look at the moon. He had never been to such a colorless, barren place. There was no green, no blue, no red, no water, no trees, no clouds, only giant gray rocks and craters, and an American flag. Oh, man, said Jack. That's from the first astronauts who landed on the moon. And look, a telescope, said Annie. She drove near the flag and telescope. Then she put her foot on the brake until the buggy stopped. She pressed a button that said off. Then she and Jack hopped out. They took slow giant steps to the site of the first moon landing. Beside the flag was a sign. Annie read it aloud. Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon. July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind. That's a good message, said Jack. He handed the moon book to Annie. Then he took out his notebook and pencil to copy the sign. Let's leave our own message, said Annie. What should we say? What should we say? Said Jack. The same thing, said Annie. But say we are the first kids. Jack turned to a new page in his notebook. In big letters, he wrote their message. Now we have to sign it, Annie said. Jack signed his name, then he passed the notebook and pencil to Annie. She signed her name and passed the notebook back. Jack tore out the piece of paper. He put it by the flag. Today, the first kids from the planet Earth came to the moon. We came in peace for all children. Jack, Annie. No wind would ever blow the message away. No rain would ever fall on it. It would be there forever, unless someone moved it. Thinking of forever made Jack feel dizzy. He shook his head to clear his thoughts. Then he remembered the time. Had 2 hours passed yet? I wish I had a watch, he said, standing up. We might be running out of time. Oh, wow. A moon man, said Annie. What? Jack turned to look at her. She was staring through the telescope. Jack walked over to the telescope. Annie stepped aside so he could look too. Jack gasped. In the distance, something was flying above the ground. It looked like a giant man in a spacesuit. All right, that's the end of chapter 5. So let's write our message. So there's a few things we could say happened in chapter 5, like Annie learned to drive slower. Jack and Annie saw a moon man. But the message we're going to write today is Jack and Annie left a note on the moon. So grab your pencil and paper so we can write together. So we're going to write Jack and Annie left a note on the moon. Here we go. Jack and Annie left a note on the moon, period. And go back and touch your lines. Jack and Annie left a note on the moon. I have spaces in between my lines, and I didn't forget my period. So here we go. Jack, J, uppercase J. We always start our sentence with an uppercase, especially names. J, A, K. Jack ends in CK. Jack and is a sight word, but we could sound it out. And D. Jack and Annie, uppercase A. Annie is a name. A, N, N, I, E. Jack and Annie left. Let's break it down. L, F, T. L, L like lion. E like elephant. F like flower. T, L, F, T. T like turtle. Jack and Annie left a, just a, note. N, O, T. N, N like nest. O, like ocean. T, T like turtle. Note, but O is saying his name, so dun 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 dun, there has to be a magic key who gives him the power to say his name. Jack and Annie left a note on O like octopus. N, O, N. N like nest. On the T-H-E, T-H-E, I can spell the T-H-E. Jack and Annie left a note on the moon. Moon. Ooh, two O's. N. N. Jack and Annie left a note on the moon. So I want you to write your own sentence about chapter 5.